Waterfalls, one of the amazing features of river erosion. How do they form? This is the question we are answering in this video. From Victoria Falls to 14 falls in Kenya, all these are waterfalls. Here, it's a flowing river, and just to put it here, I just wanted us to understand that waterfalls are formed at the upper course of the river. This is because this is the area where we have erosion taking place. So you can see the river is flowing, and here we want to demystify the process involved in the formation of these amazing features. Let's focus on this cross-section of a river, and with me here is a river which is showing the riverbed with two different rocks of different types. For example, here you have a hard rock surface, and here you have a soft rock surface. So this is the flow of the river, and from this direction we have the river flow. But something unique will happen here. When the river is flowing over the hard rocks, there is limited erosion, there is limited undercutting. But the moment it reaches this softer section of the channel, there will be erosion, both through the process of abrasion and the process of hydraulic action. And for this reason, we shall have this softer piece of or section of the river completely eroded. And now what will follow because of these processes of erosion is that there will be formation of this sharp bend here by the river, and for that reason the water will start falling straight onto the floor, and that is how it will create now the waterfall. Down here where the water is splashing, there will be creation of a pool of water which is known as the plunge hole. Then the river will of course continue flowing downstream. So here the waterfall is formed because of differences in rock resistance. From a section of hard rock to a section with softer rock, then undercutting takes place through abrasion and hydraulic action, and then we have falling water which is creating this waterfall. Good. Let's dive in some few ways in which that waterfall may be formed. And the first one is whereby we have a river descending an escarpment into the floor of the Rift Valley. I've done several videos on Rift Valley, and one of the outstanding things is that once a Rift Valley is formed, there will be development of the escarpment. This is the scarp slope which is facing the floor of the Rift Valley. So I want us to focus on this section here whereby a river has been flowing, but the moment it reaches the escarpment, there is this sharp drop in gradient leading to the formation of a waterfall. This is basically not through erosion or what, but here it's a case whereby we can have development of a waterfall. The next case where we can have a waterfall forming is where a river is descending a sharp end of a plateau. We know a plateau is a raised area. For example, you can see at this section, it is indeed a plateau area, but the river has been flowing over the plateau, but at the edge or the end point of that plateau, it is very sharp, and that's where we have development of the waterfall. The third way in which we can have a waterfall form is through river rejuvenation. River rejuvenation is basically the renewal of the erosive power of the river. I'll actually be doing a video on river rejuvenation. One of you requested under one of my videos that I do a video on river rejuvenation. So when we have river rejuvenation, which is the renewal of the erosive capacity or power of a river, we have development of sharp points along the river's course, which are known as the nick points. And here you can see that this waterfall is retreating upstream. That was not the original position of the waterfall. Perhaps the waterfall was at this section, but you can see it is retreating upstream, although the water is flowing downstream. So this must have been the original position of the waterfall. But what are we discovering? We are discovering that as the river renews its erosive capacity, it tends to keep on eroding vigorously, or the erosive capacity is renewed, and this section is where we have the development of the nick points. That is a nick point which has developed in that section, and we have the waterfall forming at that point. In case we have several nick points, then we shall have several waterfalls forming depending on the rejuvenation of the river. The fourth one, a waterfall may form in a case whereby a river is descending a hanging valley into a glacial trough. A glacial trough is a U-shaped valley formed when we have action of ice. This will be done under glaciation. So we have this major U-shaped valley, which is the same as now the glacial trough, which is as a result of action of ice. Then on the side of the glacial trough or the U-shaped valley, we have a hanging valley, which is resulting into the formation of this waterfall at this section. Much of this I'll do a video on glaciation to cover the formation of these features in glaciated areas. And then the fifth and the last one is where a river is descending a cliff into the ocean. This is quite easy. For example, you can see here that a river is flowing, and then at this point we have the cliff, then we have the ocean here, and as the water falls over the cliff, we have development of a waterfall. And here we have basically all the ways in which you can have a waterfall form, and I know it's one of the tourist attraction features, as you can see there. So thank you for watching this video. Consider subscribing to the channel.